when you got on campus. Y'all had an awesome class, man. Like from day one, the leadership in y'all's class, how y'all stepped onto, the old turf field outside of the Switzer, and we were just doing routes on air, and you guys stepped in, and man, y'all had some talent, obviously. But I remember you specifically, you talked about like you're not super loud. You kind of keep to yourself and you just get your work done. And I respected that so much out of you that off season where you just put your head down and you worked. And then obviously we get into fall camp and you prove yourself from a playing standpoint, and we get into the beginning part of the year. And I'll never forget, we went on the road to West Virginia, and hostile environment. We're like number 4 in the country or something around that number. And things were it was an uphill battle, right? I mean, it was a really tough game. I wasn't playing all that great, but we were moving the ball a little bit. And then like second half, that was like the Samaje Perine coming out party. Man, we handed you the ball and you just went and you got first down after first down after first down. And I remember not only your production that night, but just the way in which kind of you handled the adversity of the game. It was like super even keel. Give me the ball. I'm gonna press the block. I'm gonna put my foot in the ground. And I'm gonna go get what I can. I'm gonna put my screws into somebody and I'm gonna fall forward. Hey, we need a big play here. I'm gonna go make it happen. So, from an early age, I had a lot of respect for you as a player. But talk about that. Obviously, you and Joe Mixon come in together. Joe ends up sitting out that year. You have an opportunity to play a lot. What was it like? Obviously, a couple years prior, you were in, a tiny town in Alabama. You moved to big Texas football, and now you're, playing under the lights at Owen Field and across the country on national TV. What was that like for you? Because as a player, it looked like you handled it so gracefully.
It was different. I do my best to stay as even keel as I can. Don't get too high, don't get too low. I try to keep that steady, throughout everything that I do, but football wise, especially because, in an instant, things can change and momentum can change. So you can't get too high on yourself. And then, you make a, bad play or something. And again, you're at the bottom of bottoms. So I just try to keep it even keel because I know, football is a lot of ups and downs. And, when you're up, you're feeling good, but you can't let it get to you because you get too big headed, and that's when everything comes crashing down. So I do my best to just, keep my head down, continue to work, do what I need to do. And, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, then I'll celebrate a little bit, not too much, but, I'll still let people know that I enjoy being there, because sometimes it may come off as me not enjoying where I'm at. And I am. I love every moment of it, but, I don't really show it as much just because I want to stay, as even killed as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. No, so let's move along. Freshman year, we had Ty on the podcast and obviously asked him about one of his favorite moments, and it was the game where you broke the single game rushing record, just because how much it meant to the offensive line. And he was talking about how they told you, no, you're going to. It wasn't an option for you. Just, that game is so big, for every Sooner fan, for the program, just something that, to have a record like that, it's huge for a program. So just talk about that game a little bit. I know the weather was horrible that week, and it was a little bit cold, a little bit rainy. Just talk about, kind of as that game went on, just your mindset and kind of when you realized that record was, something that could be attained.
Man, that whole day was just, it was a blur, but it dragged on because the game got delayed, got rain delayed, lightning delayed, whatever. So we were just sitting in the hotel, and then once we, drove up and everything was raining, and every coach that I talked to was like, yeah, I mean, we're going to run the ball. It is what it is. It's terrible weather. We just got to, it is what we're going to have to rotate. So Keith Ford goes out and he has an unfortunate fumble. And then Gundy put me in the next drive, and I think it was the first play. It was just a 56-yard touchdown. And like, yeah, it's going to be a long day. So it was just a blur, man. It was like I was running gaspers out there with wet shoes on. It was terrible. But as we was getting to the, later in the third quarter, I was talking to Gundy. I was like, man, we got the game pretty much won, and there's no need for me to go back out there. Let's give some other guys some carries. And he was like, all right, I feel that. But then Ty came up, and he was like, nah, absolutely not. You need, a few more yards, however many yards it was, to break this record. And it was like, we're getting this record. And I was like, Ty, come on, bro. We're good. We won. He's like, nah, I'm not taking no as an answer. So I was bullied into going back out there by my linemen. And afterwards, I could see where they were coming from, because it is cool. It is special. But I was more happy for them to see how they reacted to it than I was for myself, just because I know how hard those guys worked and I know how much it meant to them. So, just to see their reactions and how they felt about themselves after the game, that was worth it more so for me than myself. But yeah, man, it was a long day.
That was a long day, and
it was a fun day watching it.
Yeah, it was. And it was so cool to be a part of it, Samaje. Like, being able to be on the sidelines. I don't remember if you remember this. Cody was playing. I was hurt, and so I got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Best seat in the house, and it's cool. Like, I think every year that you get away from it, and then whenever your time is done and you hang up the cleats for good, that will be a story that is continued to be told, and it'll be cooler ongoing, right, throughout your life. But you obviously speak about it so humbly.
For sure, yeah.
And that's just the way that you are.